What's up, Trek Nation, and welcome back to After the Snap. And I'm your host, Tasha Pierce. And yeah, I've been sitting here for some time now watching the Star Trek Discovery Season 4 official trailer that came out of New York Comic Con. So if you want to know like what I see and what I don't see in this video, just keep watching. Okay, so like I said at the top, I am going to be talking about what I think I see, which is not a whole lot, in the Star Trek Discovery Season 4 official trailer from Paramount Plus. And speaking of Paramount Plus, let me tell you, they get a little in their feelings if you use clips out of their trailers or anything. So I can't do a proper reaction video to this trailer, which would be disingenuous of me because I've seen the video or I've seen the trailer like several times. So I really wouldn't be able to give you a proper reaction, but I could like stop it and tell you, some of the things that I think I see but no. Paramount Plus don't like that. So what we did was I took a few screen captures, and this is how we're going to talk about this trailer. All right. So this season, we are learning that the crew of the Discovery, along with the entirety of Starfleet and the Federation, they're focusing on this event, stellar event, I suppose, called the Anomaly. I particularly don't have a clue what the Anomaly is. I do speculate. One little piece of speculation that I got was from when I hosted, I guess guest hosted on Discussing Trek, the podcast. You guys will have heard of Discussing Trek because every chance I get, I tell you to listen to that podcast because I love it. I love the guys. They do an outstanding job, and they invited me to talk about the last episode of Lower Decks with them, and I enjoyed that. But one of the hosts, Jonathan, was talking about what the anomaly looks like to him. Now, to him, he said it appeared to be the ellipse from Voyager. And one thing that Burnham said while she was describing this anomaly is that this is a new threat like none our galaxy has faced before. And so I don't know if she's saying this is a threat like none our galaxy has faced before because she really means that, or is she saying it to be dramatic because, Burnham is a bit, she could be a drama queen. But also, this doesn't take the ellipse off the table because this happened. The ellipse and all of the events surrounding the ellipse was from Voyager in the Delta Quadrant. Simple shit. The other thing that it kind of reminded me of, and we would have to see more of what happens within that anomaly, was the Nexus from Generations. So those are two in-universe possibilities of what could be causing this anomaly. That just scared the shit out of me. Okay, something just scared the shit out of me. That's why I stopped. So I don't even know where I was in this in this talk. I see what it was now. It was that picture that hangs behind me. Kid at work drew that for me. But anywho, let me regather myself. Okay, then we see it appeared to be Burnham and Detmer inside some type of pod, and they were getting rocked by whatever anomalies they were going through. And it appeared to me that Burnham was injured during that trip. And it appears we might see her dealing with some type of injury that she sustained during that sequence in that pod. Looks like maybe a concussion. She got tossed around quite a bit after we heard Tilly saying, "Life is just a blink." And then we see Burnham blink. I don't know if those things were in there, and I'm pretty sure that if it's in the trailer, that it has some significance as to what is going to occur during this season. So we're going to keep our eye. You see what I did there? Eye blink. We're going to keep our eye on whatever happens to Burnham in that moment. And then the anomaly. The anomaly itself, if that is what we are seeing in this image, it looks like a gigantic eye as the ships and the debris enter it. So that could also come back and play into why we had this emphasis on life is just a blink, and that the emphasis on Burnham blinking, a nice long blink, and also just the imagery of this. It looks like we are flying into the sight line of this anomaly. Now, nobody knows during this trailer what this anomaly is, but one thing's for sure, it is destructive. Now, before I move on and talk about how destructive this anomaly appears to be, I owe a couple people apologies from last season because I was really giving it to Kovic and I was really giving it to Vance. I mean, I gave him the business last season. So it didn't pan out to be the truth. I could have been reading their characters 100% wrong, but I owe them an apology to start this season. They did not end up being our bad guys last year, and it's nice to see both of them present for the conversations regarding what the heck this anomaly is. They still rub me the wrong way. Whatever it is a destructive phenomenon for sure. And we see a meeting, a big meeting with, it looks like members of the Federation. So, Federation planets, the Federation president is there, and then we have a contingent of Starfleet officers and other civilian representatives from different planets, different systems. But the Federation president, the fact that she is there is telling us that this is something huge, something major, especially since she never appeared when we faced the burn. So we never got this emphasis on the Federation president any last season. And of course, in the real world, maybe they hadn't cast her yet. But in universe, it informs me as to how devastating this event is. How much more so it's devastating than when we dealt with the burn. Now, Reinhardt brought to my attention, Reinhardt68, one of my very loyal viewers, he brought to my attention that this Federation president, and I believe her name is Raikal, I could be wrong, her ancestry is human, Bajoran, and Cardassian. So it just shows that there have been some interspecies mixing over the centuries. Since we left the original timeline in the dust, we are seeing that a little mingling, a little mixing went on between species. And that is a good thing for the Federation because it just says that these people are starting to get along a little more. I can't imagine having a baby with somebody I didn't get along with. I mean, I'm sure there are some people out there who that has happened to. Fortunately, you know, you might argue or disagree, but the fact that this baby exists means that there was once upon a time where everything was copacetic and everybody was feeling the same kind of way. So the fact that she has human, Bajoran, and Cardassian ancestry was of interest. So thank you, Reinhardt, for sharing tidbit, that little tidbit with us. And then we see also, speaking of legacies, we see Nog's legacy in another Ferengi who had become a Starfleet officer. Now, I'm not sure if this had become more common over the centuries because, of course, we advanced some 800 years into the future, so we don't particularly know what happened in that space of time between us seeing Nog become a Starfleet officer to moving forward into the time that we're in now. But it was so nice to see another Ferengi, even though that was a scary looking Ferengi. And I wonder if this is just evolution that has made them look differently. In universe, of course, in universe, if they have evolved into having these pointier ears and their skin is not as smooth as I remember. So yeah, but he kind of scared me just a little. Somebody who's been watching horror movies for at least the last 2 to 3 weeks got scared of a Ferengi. And then after I thought of that, I giggled to myself because I was like, Wait, is that Tendy's legacy? Do we see an Orion Starfleet officer? But it appears that she is just the Orion representative for her planet, her system, because she did not have on a uniform. So that Orion might not be Starfleet, so she might not be a part of Tendy's legacy. Now, that simulation of the anomaly showed us just how powerful that force is. Blazed right through a planet, and when we are examining this anomaly, Saru is with us. So we know that by this time, Saru has rejoined the crew of the Discovery for whatever reason, whatever function he's serving right now. We know he's there, so that's always good. Yeah, we saw the planet be pretty much decimated by the force of the projectile that looked like came out of the anomaly. So you guys tell me what you think you saw because that's what I think I saw, and it looked good as far as the simulation was concerned, and it does inform us as to how devastating this phenomenon can be. Then of course we see the Federation president having a conversation with Burnham, telling her that her acts of bravery, they could, what did she say? There's hardly a difference between a wrecking ball and a pendulum and a wrecking ball. Know that I am not quoting that correctly, and I can't put the little snip in here to tell you what she actually said because Paramount sucks. We've covered that. Paramount is not going to allow me to do that. So I know she said there's a very fine line between a pendulum and a wrecking ball, and I'm sick I'm sick of civilians because that's what the Federation president appears to be to me. She's not wearing a Starfleet uniform that says, hey, I served, so I know. She looks like to me yet another civilian that is trying to tell Burnham how to do her job. And not saying that sometimes Burnham does not need to be put back on course. I'm sick of it being civilians. What happened to the old adage? You can't argue with results. You can't argue with results. And however unorthodox her methods, Burnham gets results. Now, again, like I said, she's a drama queen. She's very emotional, and I believe that the emotionality is because she spent many years repressing those very same emotions. She is human, and she pretended for most of her life to be a Vulcan. So now that she is being encouraged to explore her feelings, it can be a bit overwhelming. And also, and I'm saying all of this because there are some people that is their biggest complaint. But this is a person who had been repressing emotions for decades, at least a couple of decades. And now she's being told, explore these emotions. You are human. You're human. It's okay to feel. Explore these emotions. And emotions can become quite overwhelming. And if you are on a ship with a bunch of empathetic people, and these people will also take on your emotions. So, in an emotionally free environment that Burnham has created by her releasing all of this emotional energy, that rubs off. And don't tell me that you have not felt if you saw a little baby crying, or your kid, for instance, your kid's trying so hard to tie their shoe, and you can see and feel the frustration, and you just want to do it for them because you have empathized with them. Not only that, you can't just stand there and wring your hands. You want to help. So that's just how I look at her emotionality, the emotionality of the crew, and why we have so many hugs and heartfelt moments in this show. It's because of Burnham. People take on the personality of their leaders. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Emotions make you cry sometimes. Emotions. All right, all right, all right. So, anyway, I'm sick of them trying to tell her how to be her. Let that woman do her job. Now, if she does something and it completely screws up, yes, we need to go ahead on and put her in her place because she's not above that. But if you have not seen the end result of whatever it is that she's trying, I think the best bet is to just sit back and just wait to see how that thing plays out. Because obviously, she's made it this far because of what she brings to the table, as far as thinking on her feet and being prepared to make that sacrifice play. It's not always the best thing, but it has worked out uh, in a lot of ways for Michael Burnham. Now, directly after that scene, we get this whole scene of we gonna just disregard everything that this person just said to us, right? And she's like, mm-hmm. So we know we going in, we going in, we going in. We are going in that anomaly. We're going in that anomaly. She's sitting there telling you how I feel comfortable risking your lives to go into this anomaly and find out what's going on. And because she's comfortable risking their lives, I guess they're comfortable with it. So we going in, and I am very excited to see how that turns out for Burnham and crew. Upon that we're going in announcement, we see Reno, and we learned that Tig Notaro had to film her scenes alone, and I wonder if we'll be able to tell during the season that she is playing off of nobody. That is a scary thing because it's hard to, again, feel the energy in the room when there's nobody in the room. The energy that she would need to deliver her lines and to feel. So we're about to find out exactly what Tig Notaro is made out of as far as Star Trek Discovery goes when we see how she acts without anybody to act off of, if you get what I'm saying. And this is editing Tasha coming right back at you again because I would be remiss if I didn't tell you how fine I think David Ajala is. Book. And seeing him, it makes me rethink some of my life decisions, some of the choices that I have made with how I'm going to live my life. Those things, they all ruminate. I have to just think about it. I got to at least think about it. And that man, he encourages naughty thoughts in my little head. And I don't have nothing else. This is again editing Tasha. Is she's a beast. I'm gonna let y'all meet her a little bit more. Now in this picture here, it looks like Saru is standing inside the sacred timeline. And if I did not know any better, that's exactly what I would think it was the sacred timeline, and that he's conjuring up some kind of Doctor Strange spell. But that's an entirely different universe. In this universe, I am curious to know exactly what it is that Saru is doing with this setup. Looks a little weird. We also saw Book operating the spore drive, and I'm like, what the fuck? And the reason why I feel like that WTF moment is, have they gone to it being only Book operating the spore drive, or does it alternate between Book and Stamets, or where are we going with Book and his people being able to be conduits for the spore drive? I want to know exactly how that will improve the Federation, besides the fact that they can then get a lot more spore drives going for the Federation. But would you really want that? Would you really want a ship that could do that? Do you want multiple of those? Or how many of those would be too many? How many of those would be too many in the Federation? If you have a answer for that particular question, I would love to see it in the comments below. Okay, one more time for editing, Tosh, because I certainly forgot to ask, what the heck is this? I have no clue. If you got a clue, I'd love to see it in the comments along with everything else that we've been discussing. Go ahead and make comments on that, but I definitely want to know what the heck this is. Now, in short snips, we are seeing an awful lot of hand-to-hand combat going on in this season. And I'm like, okay, does this mean that each one of these players on the bridge, specifically the bridge crew, because we don't know enough about them, and that is one of my biggest complaints about Star Trek Discovery is that we don't know enough about our bridge crew. I want to see Reese and I want to see Bryce get in the melee. But what we did see was Owusakan. We saw her throwing hands, and it looked like she might know what she's doing. So, like I said, a lot of hand-to-hand combat, a couple of away teams that we get to see. So we get to see, we know that there are some missions off of the ship, which is always good, and some wild explosions, like wild. Michael Bay, anyone? Wild explosions. Then we see Gray with Adira looking real, real. Like Gray looks real, real, sitting next to Adira, and I'm wondering if this is after they become a real corporeal being. Now, I also wonder if Stamets and Culber have had to talk with them. And I know that I am bringing some of my lower deck energy to Star Trek Discovery, but they sitting on a bed together. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was young and dating, wasn't no such animal as going in your bedroom and sitting on no bed, because a bed can evoke a certain kind of feeling. It just makes it a little too comfortable to do the things that you really don't want your teenagers experimenting in. So, if you have company, like when I was young, we had company, male company, for instance, we had two places, the living room and the basement. Now, the basement in our house was not like, the basement was the place to be. So the basement was where everybody was at. So it's not like you're going in the basement and you're gonna get this alone time and you get some little nook. Nope, nope, nope. The basement was the place to be. Everybody was in the basement. So you going down there to play your video games, to watch your football, your basketball, your baseball. You going down there to do shit that's family. Everybody is involved. The living room is where you're going to just sit and watch TV, shoulder to shoulder, and hold hands. None of that going in your bedroom. We got to work on that, Stamets and Colbert. This is going to be your new full-time job, because parenting is a full-time job. So if this is going to be your new full-time job, y'all need to be a little bit better at making sure these kids ain't someplace where they could get in a little trouble, because, we see that the Kawat Malat is in the house. We see Mama Burnham and another Kawat Malat. I thought they only showed up for lost causes. So, are we in another one of those situations where things look to be a lost cause for this ship? And towards the end of it, it's just a bunch of sequences that show you that it's about to be action-packed, full of energy, lots of surprises, anomalies, fires, blow up, fight, shoot, fight some more. It's all of that. It looks like to me we're going to be getting this season of Star Trek Discovery, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is all that I think about Star Trek Discovery Season 4 trailer. We know that we will be getting Star Trek Discovery on November 18th. I'm super excited. I cannot wait. But before then, we're going to get Prodigy. That's it. That's all. That's everything I got for this trailer. So before I move on, I want to throw a little music on for my patrons. I love my patrons. So I got to play the funky music for my patrons and thank them for being my backbone through making this content and supporting my endeavors and my dreams. I thank you so much. You just don't know how much you mean to me. And if you would like to become a patron, you can do that by going to patreon.com/Tasha Pierce. Choose a tier, any tier. I promise you, I will be eternally grateful. If you like this video, please feel free to hit that thumbs up. I'll appreciate that as well. You can also subscribe to me for more Star Trek content, and I also do movie reviews. We talk entertainment news, we talk streaming news, so join me for all of that type of content. Hit the subscribe and turn your notifications on so you will know when I upload a video. With all that being said, I've got nothing else. I am going to catch all of y'all in the next video, so live long and prosper. Peace.